January 2018, question 8b. It says, Mr. Thomas makes X bottles of juice and Y cakes each day. So X is number of bottles of juice, and Y is number of cakes. Let's continue. To supply his customers, he makes at least 20 bottles of juice and no more than 15 cakes each day. I. Write two inequality to represent this information. Well, the first thing we need to remember is that at least is an inequality term, and it means greater than or equal to. No more than is also an inequality term, and it means less than or equal to. All right. So if he makes at least 20 bottles of juice, the first inequality is X, which is the number of bottles of juice, must be greater than or equal to 20. At least 20 means greater than or equal to 20. Then it says he makes no more than 15 cakes. So Y, which is the number of cakes, must be less than or equal to 15. So this is part I of the question. Now II says, each day Mr. Thomas uses $163 to make the bottles of juice and the cakes. The cost of one juice is $3.50, while the cost to make a cake is $5.25. We're to write an inequality to represent this information. All right, so if I make X bottles of juice and it costs $3.50 to make one bottle of juice, the amount of money I spend making juice daily is 3.5x. All right. So if I know the cost to make one bottle of juice, I can find out the cost to make any other number of bottles of juice by multiplying. Now, if the cost to make one cake is $5.50 and I make Y cakes, it means I spend 5.25 Y's making cake every day. And the total amount of money I spend must be what? Less than or equal to 163. All right, the last part of the question. This says, show that on any given day, it is not possible for Mr. Thomas to make 50 bottles of juice and 12 cakes. Well, that's not so difficult to show. All right. First of all, we have 3.5x plus what is it? 5.25 y must be less than or equal to 163. Now, if he makes 50 bottles of juice, it means x would be equal to 50. And if he makes 12 cakes, it means y would be equal to 12. All right. So first of all, these two figures is in line with my first condition. First condition is that x must be greater than or equal to 20 and y must be less than or equal to 15. So x being 50 and y being what 12 is in line with my first condition. All right. So what I have to do next is um, I'm going to plug these values in to see, well, what is the value of 3.5x plus 5.25y. All right, what is the value of this when x is 50 and y is 12? So this is going to be 3.5 times 50 plus 5.25 times 12. All right, 3.25 times 50. So 3.25 times 50 is $162.50. And 5.25 times 12, that's equal to 63. All right, when we add this, we're going to get $225.50. So it's $225.50. So in order for Mr. Whatever his name, to make Mr. what? Thomas. In order for Mr. Thomas to make 50 bottles of juice and 12 cakes, he has to spend 200 and what $25.50. Now this is more than the $163 in which he's allowed to spend making cakes and what and juice on a daily basis. So therefore 50 bottles of juice and 12 cakes violates the third condition for Mr. Thomas's juice making and cake building operation. So it violates it. So therefore, we can say 50 bottles of juice and 12 cakes is not possible. All right, and the basic reason for that is that it costs more to make than Mr. Thomas has to spend. All right. So the cost for making the 50 bottles of juice and the 12 cakes is $225.50, which is more than the amount of money that Mr. Thomas has to spend on a daily basis, which is $163. So this amount violates the third condition um, under which Mr. Thomas operates his business. Therefore, it is not possible. Um, this combination of cake and juice is not a part of the solution set.